True Blue Nation, Dodgers Report.
Hello, Blue Nation. Welcome back to True Blue Nation, Dodgers Report, your exclusive news channel for everything Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm your host, always bringing the hottest information and the most in-depth analysis directly to you, the most passionate fan base in the MLB, our Blue Crew. Before we dive headfirst into the bombshell news I have for you today, I ask for a moment of your attention. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, with insights you won't find anywhere else and analysis that goes beyond the box score, then become part of our community. Click the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. Your subscription is crucial for me to continue bringing this detailed and exclusive content. Trust me, you'll want to be in the loop on what we're about to discuss. Let's start with a revelation that could have completely changed the modern history of baseball, and more specifically, the glorious trajectory of our Los Angeles Dodgers over the last decade and a half. Recently, in an interview that shook the league's foundations, New York Yankees general manager Brian Cashman, one of the longest-tenured and most respected figures in the MLB front offices, dropped an absolute bombshell. He revealed that years ago, he made a legitimate and concerted effort to acquire none other than our future Hall of Famer, the living legend, Clayton Kershaw, back when he was just a shimmering prospect in our minor league system. The statement was made on MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM and caught everyone by surprise. Cashman, who has been at the helm of the Yankees since 1998, has seen it all. But this confession sheds new light on the importance of holding on to generational talents. He specifically mentioned the period when Ned Colletti was our general manager, a time of transition and uncertainty for our franchise. I remember Ned Colletti. He was the GM of the Dodgers when Clayton was in the minor leagues, Cashman said. I ran a few ideas by him to try and steal him. And of course, Ned was smart enough to say no, but they were legitimate efforts on my part. To understand the magnitude of this, we need to go back in time. Clayton Kershaw didn't spend much time in the minor leagues. His talent was that immense. Drafted in the first round as the 7th overall pick in 2006, he made a meteoric rise, jumping directly from Double-A to Los Angeles in 2008. However, Cashman revealed the exact moment he sensed vulnerability and an opportunity to strike. He referred to Kershaw's first steps, which, like many young pitchers, included some initial turbulence. Early on, he struggled, Cashman recalled. That's where the vulnerability comes in, especially in these big markets, where you need immediate dividends, or the fan base gets a little antsy to try to win. You want to offer something good. This insight from Cashman is crucial. He was banking on the pressure of a market like Los Angeles to force our front office into a rash decision, trading a prospect for more established pieces that could bring immediate wins. He imagined the Dodgers might give in to temptation, but Ned Colletti and our entire organization stood firm. The Dodgers were smart enough to say, no, he's ours forever, Cashman concluded. Let's analyze the context of that era to give this attempt its proper dimension. In 2007, the Dodgers won only 82 games, a disappointing performance that led to the firing of manager Grady Little. The franchise was in a moment of restructuring, trying to find a consistent path back to the postseason. On the other side, the Yankees, though always competitive, were also going through an unusual period. In 2008, they finished third in their division, and for the first time since 1994, missed the playoffs. Their player base was aging. Icons like Mariano Rivera, 38 years old in 2008, Andy Pettitte, 36, Jorge Posada, 37, and Derek Jeter, 34, were in the final stages of their glorious careers. There was a clear and urgent need to infuse the roster with young, high-impact talent, especially in the pitching staff. Cashman, seeing the situation, identified Kershaw as the piece that could revitalize his rotation for a decade. The big question that remains is, what could the Yankees have offered? A package for a prospect of Kershaw's caliber would have had to be monumental. Names like Robinson Cano, who was an elite young second baseman, or Brett Gardner, a speedy outfielder, could have been the centerpiece of a proposal. Perhaps promising young pitchers of the time like Phil Hughes or Ian Kennedy could have been included. But with the benefit of hindsight, we can state categorically that no trade would have been worth it. Ned Colletti made the decision that defined our future. Saying no to Brian Cashman and the Yankees for Clayton Kershaw wasn't just a good move. It was the move that ensured we would have one of the greatest pitchers in baseball history wearing our Dodger blue for his entire career, leading us to numerous division titles, a World Series, and countless unforgettable moments. This revelation serves as a powerful reminder of how crucial patience and long-term vision are in building a dynasty. Now, moving from a story about the foundational rock of our rotation for so many years, let's dive headfirst into one of the most pressing and concerning issues the Dodgers are facing right now as we prepare for the October battle: the instability of our bullpen. It's a problem that has been our Achilles heel for much of the season and has now, in the final stretch, reached a critical level. The centerpiece of this concern has a name: Tanner Scott. Signed in the offseason as a major addition with a $72 million contract, he came with the expectation of being the pillar who would close out games and provide security in the final innings. However, the reality has been painfully different. Scott's performance has not only fallen short of expectations, but reached an alarming low on Tuesday night. With another failure, he became the sole MLB leader in blown saves. He currently has 10 blown saves on the season, a number that, as reporter Blake Harris pointed out, is the most in all of baseball. This statistic is a gut punch for any closer, but for a team with championship aspirations, it's a red alert. Scott himself is aware of his terrible slump, and his comments to the media after the last game were brutally honest and worrisome. "I don't know if I'm tipping pitches or what, but they're on everything. It's a shame. It was a fastball up in the zone. Maybe I am tipping. I have no earthly idea right now. It's terrible. I'm having the worst year of my life. I need to get better," Scott vented. This admission that he might be tipping pitches, a term meaning he might be unconsciously making a movement that reveals to the batter what type of pitch is coming, is extremely serious. It shows an athlete with no confidence and no answers, which is the worst possible combination for a relief pitcher entering high-pressure situations. The front office and manager Dave Roberts continue to publicly express confidence in Scott, but behind the scenes, the situation is tense. Keeping faith in a closer who leads the league in failures just days before the playoffs begin is a high-stakes gamble. And this is where the story takes a fascinating and potentially controversial turn, involving our biggest star, Shohei Ohtani. Faced with the bullpen crisis, a radical solution is being seriously considered by our front office, an idea that is causing frustration and anger among other teams in the league. According to Bob Nightingale of USA Today, there is a real possibility of Shohei Ohtani being moved to the bullpen for the playoffs. The controversy lies in the special rule that applies to Ohtani as a two-way player. Nightingale explains, "Teams are upset because the Dodgers will have one more pitcher than everyone else on their roster, since there is a special exception for Shohei Ohtani as a two-way player. If Ohtani is a starting pitcher, he can remain in the game as a designated hitter after being replaced on the mound. This rule, applied to a relief role, would give the Dodgers a roster flexibility that no other team has, a significant strategic advantage in a short series decided by details. Having an electric arm like Ohtani's, capable of hitting over 100 mph, available for one or two crucial innings, could be the secret weapon that solves our biggest problem. It would be a masterstroke by Andrew Friedman, but also one that would draw criticism from across the league. Ohtani's health, as he returns from surgery, is a factor to consider, but the urgency to fix the bullpen may force the front office to take this calculated risk. The regular season is ending, and the Dodgers find themselves at a crossroads. Trust in Tanner Scott's recovery or bet on a bold and controversial solution with Shohei Ohtani. The juxtaposition of these two stories is striking. On one hand, we remember a brilliant decision from the past that secured us a legend and an era of dominance. On the other, we face a current crisis that could jeopardize everything and demands an equally bold perhaps even riskier decision. Cashman's attempt for Kershaw reminds us of the importance of protecting our greatest talents, while the situation with Tanner Scott and the potential move of Ohtani to the bullpen show that to win in October, you must be willing to innovate and make tough choices. The central issue is clear. The bullpen is our Achilles heel, and how the front office addresses it in the coming days will define our postseason destiny. And now I want to hear from you, Blue Crew. The final word belongs to the fans. What do you think about this situation? Should we continue to trust Tanner Scott to close games in the playoffs, hoping he regains his form, or should the front office pull the trigger and move Shohei Ohtani to the bullpen? Even with the risks and controversy it would generate, what strategic move would you make? Leave your opinions, your arguments, and your hot takes here in the comments. I read absolutely everything. Your debate is what enriches our channel, and if you've made it this far and aren't subscribed yet, this is your final call. For in-depth analysis like this and breaking news throughout the postseason, subscribe to True Blue Nation, Dodgers Report, and turn on notifications. Here, the news comes first, and the analysis is always for those who understand the game.